More changes are coming for the Chiefs very, very soon as free agency gets underway, and we're going to talk about it. Good morning, Chiefs Kingdom. English is hard this early in the morning, and I appreciate you all being here. We're going to talk some free agency. Mike, a lot of weird moves going on. The Chiefs have made some moves themselves, and we're going to talk about those today. Do us a favor, hit that like button for us, if you will. Get this out to more people. Mike Caliendo has been tendered. Punter Matariza has been tendered.
Yeah.
And they've traded away Joe Thuney.
Yeah.
And they've tagged Trey Smith. That's pretty much it for the Chiefs so far. But more's coming.
Yeah, more's coming. Look, it's not a surprise. I thought Matariza done pretty well last year. He wasn't perfect, but he was good enough.
No touch. He can kick the hell out of the ball, but absolutely no touch.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. We knew Caliendo was coming. Steve, I keep telling you over and over and over again that even despite everyone thinking Caliendo was horrible and he's not good, Andy Reid has liked this kid since day one. He has made it a priority to keep him in the mix, on the practice squad, on the team, starting when he gets a chance. Like, that's just the way it is. So it doesn't surprise me. What surprises me the most, and actually Joe Thuney, the trade doesn't surprise me all that much. If you made the decision that Trey Smith is the guy you had to keep over Nick Bolton, maybe they get Nick Bolton too, but Trey Smith is the guy they wanted, then you can't have an $80 million right tackle. You can't have Creed Humphrey on a big contract. You cannot also have Joe Thuney that's 32, 33 years old on a big contract. You can't do it. They saved the money. We seen it. But this is opening up more holes they've got to fill. And, Steve, everybody else under the sun, it just feels like every other team in football feels like they don't play with a salary cap. Everybody bends over backwards to help them out in any way possible.
Monopoly money, baby. They just throwing out Monopoly money.
We just got this one yesterday, Steve. Christian Kirk got released. Christian Kirk was on our short list last year. He was supposed to get released by the Jaguars. And then it comes out that they're going to trade him to the Texans for a 2026 7th-round pick. So for everybody that thought a 2026 4th-round pick for a 33-year-old Joe Thuney sucked, what the hell do you got to say about the Jaguars getting rid of Christian Kirk for a 2026 7th-round pick, Steve? I could go for a 2026 7th-round pick. There's collusion going on somewhere. That is ridiculous. And by the way, how do the Texans every single year, I say this over and over, they are the new build, the Golden State Warriors. Just keep trying until you buy one.
Yeah, but it's not working for them, so it's kind of whatever.
How do they keep doing it?
Well, they have CJ Stroud on a rookie contract, so they're spending while they can. We'll see how that works out for them, for better or for worse.
But how do people keep trading them?
What about Christian Kirk though? Like literally 2 years ago, he set the market with the highest contract there was,
and now he's a 7th-round pick next year.
Yeah, I mean, good Lord, life comes at you fast, I guess.
He's not that bad. Something's going on here. This is ridiculous. I don't know what's going on. The Chiefs, it feels so hard. It feels like we're always playing Madden on level all-pro. And every one of these other franchises are just out here forcing trades through on rookie mode.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, man. Well, I mean, speaking of that, just how much these guys are getting paid now, because there's been a lot of, deals go on. They might not be official until the new season kicks off on March 12th or whatever. But here, let me just read you some of these contracts, Mike, and that's going to kind of tell you where the market's set for certain positions. I already know they're
absurd.
And what the Chiefs are going to be able to do. Okay, so let's just start with Buffalo. Buffalo, they extended Khalil Shakir for 4 years, $60.2 million, including $32 million guaranteed at signing.
So $15 million per.
Okay, and this one is going to be pretty telling about Mr. Nick Bolton. Linebacker Terrell Bernard agreed to a 4-year extension with Buffalo worth $50 million, including $25.2 million guaranteed. That might show you where Nick Bolton's going to be at a little bit. Do you think it's any way possible that the Chiefs could turn around and sign Nick Bolton for 4-year, $50 million extension? That seems a little rich, doesn't it?
It's wild. Where's Buffalo? How's Buffalo get all this money?
They don't they've had like a lot of salary cap. I wish I could. Let me bring that up real quick. Like all the teams.
How do they always have a lot of salary cap? That's what's funny. Like, how do they always have a lot of salary cap when they're supposed to have the best quarterback ever?
He plays for Pebbles, Mike, because he wants to.
Yeah,
win.
apparently this dude plays for free.
No, so Buffalo. Let's see where they're at here. Now, actually, the Bills are 8. Let's see, effective cap space. They're 11 million in the hole.
And still throwing out $50 million contracts left and right like it's candy on Halloween.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. I didn't know that, so that's pretty funny. But if we go on through the league, T. Higgins, of course, they tagged him $26.2 million. Cincinnati Bengals did. They re-signed Tanner Hudson, tied into a 1-year contract, and they re-signed Cal Adomitis.
Who knows? Who cares?
Hey, what about Trey Hendrickson? They're allowing him to seek a trade. How do you have the Bengals are a poverty
what are they going to
franchise.
get for him? A 2028 7th-round pick? Just send him over to the Texans.
Yeah, no kidding. This is the thing, though. Like, Trey Hendrickson, by pretty much all metrics, was the Defensive Player of the Year last year. They gave it to the kid from Pat Surtain, the second from Denver. But I think Trey Hendrickson was a beast last year. He was that guy, and they're gonna let him talk trades. Like I don't, but they're worried about tagging T. Higgins for $26 million.
I hate the Bengals. They're dumb. Their front office is stupid.
Trash.
T. Higgins shouldn't have been re-tagged 2 years in a row. That shouldn't even be allowed. If you tag them 1 year and you can't get a deal done, they should be able to leave free agency. You shouldn't be able to tag these dudes every year of their life.
Right, Mike. And then Tutu Atwell getting the $10 million for a year.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
the one. This one right here is going to just throw a kink right in the plans of Brett Veach trying to get back Hollywood Brown. There is no way Hollywood Brown's playing anywhere less than $10 million if Tutu Atwell can get $10 million.
I can hear the negotiations now. Like, will you do another 1 year, $8 million?
Here,
but
let's do
Tutu
negotiations.
freaking Atwell got $10 million, bro.
Here, Brett Veach. Let's do some negotiation. I'm Hollywood.
Hey, Hollywood, we'd love to have you back. You played really great last year when you were healthy. Maybe we can give this thing a shot. You got like a whole full year with the Chiefs. We'll just redo your contract in another year for $8 million.
Well, Tutu Atwell, whoever the hell that is, got $10 million. So I'm not signing for $8 million again. So what do you got?
Please, sir.
Please,
just
sir.
play for a pebble.
We know where he's going.
Just give me a crumb of Hollywood
he's
Brown,
gonna end up on the. He's going to end
Yeah.
up on the Texans or the Eagles.
I don't know.
But-
Buffalo's the
Buffalo.
contender. Then with their
Are those
negative
the only
$12 million.
three teams- Are those the only 3 teams in football that can effectively just not deal with a salary cap? They pick up everybody. They trade for everybody. They're trading with each other. They just trade with each other too. That's how Stephon Diggs got over there. Like, what's going on? Did these 3 owners get together in the offseason and have a
Mike,
kumbaya?
you have to realize, man, free agency hasn't even officially kicked off yet, and there's already some weird stuff.
And I'm already
so.
pissed off about it because we already know what's going to happen, Steve. We're the only team in football that has to worry about a salary cap. We're the only team in football that can't try to upgrade any position because every year we don't have any money. How do you expect Brett Veach to do anything when he don't have any money? What are you talking about? Travis Kelce has been criminally underpaid for many of years. Okay? Chris Jones had to fight tooth and nail just to get a contract. It's not even like a set the market type of contract, more than likely. It probably got blown up in like 2 hours. Patrick Mahomes converts half of his signing bonus or his full signing bonus every freaking year to free up money. Where does it go? Where does it go?
Well, I mean, with the signing bonuses, they still go against the cap. It's just like I think the allotted amount that you get in a signing bonus.
I get it, but how are these other
did they
teams-
just split that out over the years of the contract? Is that how that works?
But all these other teams, they just do what they want. Trade for who they want. It's on Madden easy mode, baby. Just force the trade through if you want. They can they can cut the guy. Christian Kirk's cut. And the Texans are just like, they just pick up the phone and they're like, cut? I'll give you a 7th-round pick in 10 years for him. And they're like, well, might as well get something out of it. You mean to tell me not another single GM in football seen the news that he was cut and didn't decide to call them up and be like, hey, and then nobody offered better than a 7th-round pick in 2026? If I'm the Chiefs, I'm giving up a 4th-round pick this year for Christian Kirk.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. He would be a great fit for the Chiefs. We talked about that last year.
He would solve the problem. You wouldn't need Hollywood Brown. You solved the problem. It's over, and you would have got him for a 7th-round pick this year, obviously.
Well, let's talk about who is available. Let's do that. There's some interesting ones out there, man. I'm just going to start.
Let's call this segment, Who's Going to End Up with the Eagles?
Okay. Devontae Adams. He's a top free agent right now.
Eagles.
All right.
Wait. Hold on. Could be the Texans. Maybe even the Bills. That's going to be the top 3 teams here that I'm going to say.
Do you think the New York Giants are going to sign Papa Rogers and then turn around and get Devontae Adams too?
I don't know.
I feel like they're a couple. Like they're a team. They interview as a team, like on Step Brothers.
Which one out of these 3 do you think Rodgers ends up going to for free just to be a backup? Buffalo, the Texans, or the Eagles?
The Eagles.
He'll just play for free this year, just as a backup, just in case.
Hey, but okay, let me read these off, man. And if there's one that sounds intriguing, like ding, 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 that's one that I think the Chiefs could go after. Realistically, just stop me. So I'm just gonna read the list of free agents from top free agent down, and you just yell at me whenever you hear a name that you like. We got Devontae Adams, wide receiver. We got Stephon Diggs, defensive end Joey Bosa, wide receiver Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, Chris Godwin, Brandon Cooks, outside linebacker Khalil Mack, wide receiver Deontay Johnson, left tackle Cam Robinson, defensive end Draymond Jones, guard Brandon Scherf, outside linebacker Hassan Reddick, wide receiver Tyler Lockett, cornerback Carlton Davis.
Let me stop you here. Every person you just read is either old as dirt, going to be way too expensive for us to even consider, or they're old and expensive. Like, I don't see Brett Veach doing anything right now.
Well, post-Tooney trade, we're still effectively almost $6 million in the hole.
Out of all those guys you just said, do you see Brett Veach interested in any of them guys?
Honestly, none of them really jump off the page at me. The only one I could see him maybe being interested in, and that's just off of like past stuff, would be like Brandon Cooks, just because he's that type of receiver. But he's 32. So
he's 32, bro.
I don't see that happening. But then Tyler Lockett, who's almost 33.
He's 42.
He's showing interest in playing with the Chiefs. I seen that on Twitter, or X, I should say. So I mean, there's other than that, no. Of course, the Cam Robinson smoke. As far
Cam
as
Robinson, look, I don't even think Cam Robinson's all that great. What are you going to have to pay him to come in and let up 70 more pressures?
Yeah,
because he gave up what last year, 60?
I don't know if that's the answer for the Chiefs there. I don't know about it. And I mean, that's the thing about it. We talk about Ronnie Stanley being old. What's he, 31, 32 years old? Cam Robinson is going to be 30 this season.
Right.
So it's not like he's
What's up, Richie?
Super young. But
okay, if anybody's being mean to people in the chat, by the way, Richie, if anybody's mean to Richie, if anybody's mean to anybody, I'm banning you out of here today.
Stop being mean to people.
I'm tired of people being an asshole to everybody. Like, we can all get along. We can all be happy in our own way. If I want to be angry today, guess what? I'm angry. You want to know why? Because everything's going bad this morning. And then I realized Christian Kirk gets traded for a 7th-round pick, dude. What are you talking about?
That really set you off.
It really set me off because where's Brett Veach? Was he asleep at 7 in the morning? He never sleeps. What's going on? What's going on? There's collusion. There's something going on. But anyways, everybody be nice to people, man.
Hey, anyway, before I keep going on these free agents, I just want to let you guys know we put out a video last night about Ronnie Stanley. Should the Chiefs sign Ronnie or try to get Ronnie Stanley, and how that would be for the Chiefs and everything? Go watch that bad boy when you're done here. It's literally like a 5-minute video. It won't take you long. And YouTube kind of buried it, so go watch that bad boy.
YouTube ain't buried nothing, Steve. There ain't no Chiefs fans out there watching nothing.
Here we go.
Chiefs fans are watching
What about Christian Kirk, though?
And that's it. Christian Kirk, don't care. He's going over there to lose with the Texans. I guess they're done with the Stephon Diggs. They borrowed him for a year. That didn't work out. Kick him to the curb.
See how it goes.
Let's
Let's get
bring
back to
in the next one.
Let's get back to the list. This is one that I find kind of intriguing, and he's not the youngest guy in the world. He's going to be 31 this season, but tight end Evan Ingram. Does that make you think maybe the Chiefs could use that guy? He's a very athletic tight end. Got the receiver hands. He was kind of went off a couple years ago there with the Jaguars.
I mean, he's only 2 years younger than Travis Kelce.
5.
How old's Kelce now?
35, going to be 36, bro.
I was thinking he's 34, dude.
No.
I was thinking back to Kelsey's heydays back there in 34. I don't know. 31-year-old tight end, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's worth a shot for maybe a 1 year if you want to do what they did last year with the cat that we cut.
Like, I like him, and I think he's good, and I think he would fit with the Chiefs quite well. But I don't know if we necessarily need it. Like, that's the thing about it. If you're going to take snaps away from Kelce and you're going to slow his role a little bit, then just give it to Noah Gray and let him do his thing, man.
Right. You're going to bring a guy in that's already aging. Even if he's great, in 2 years, he's falling off the map too, and you're right back in the situation. So I don't mess with that one. I would draft. I would trust Jared Wiley to get back. Do something.
I think Wiley's got to be able to do something too. You know?
If Wiley doesn't do something this year, I mean, is he in the bust category? Chiefs Kingdom will put you there quick, dude.
Yeah, buddy. He might already be there.
He may be there.
Let me keep going. I'm going to keep going. All right. Outside linebacker, Matthew Judon. Cornerback, old friend, Charvarius Ward. He's only 29, Mike. Do you think that's something the Chiefs could sniff back around at to have like a good corner over there with McDuffie?
If he don't get any interest in the market, he needs to sign a cheap 1 year deal, maybe.
Charvarius Ward was very, very L'Jarius Sneed-esque. He started out on the bad note with Chiefs Kingdom. He sucked. He's the worst person ever. And then by the end of his contract, oh my God, we have to have Charvarius Ward. He's so good. So he kind of reminds me of L'Jarius Sneed in that aspect.
I mean, he had a lot of personal issues happen this year. His play on the field suffered for that, which understandably.
Totally understandable.
I don't know if his head space is even right in the football game anymore. I don't know if I would take a shot on him, to be honest. And it's just not against him. We just have limited money, apparently. We got limited money every year. We got limited money, limited resources. We can't be signing anybody, Steve, over a $1 million prove-it deal.
That's great.
So what 25 are we going to bring in this year that we got to restructure next year? It's just the same story for the last 5 years, hasn't it been?
Pretty much. Let's see. Defensive.
I mean, it works, but it's a little tiring.
Defensive end Demarcus Lawrence. There's outside linebacker Preston Smith. Wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins. So this is an interesting one, really. Like, we know that Brett Veach and Andy Reid, they were a little horny for DeAndre Hopkins. They were after him for 2 years before they actually got him. Then you have him for a year. You don't even use him heavily in your offense, which was very odd. Do you think they try to get him back on another 1 year, or do you think that's just over? Because I did see a report where the Ravens are interested in signing him for a 1 year deal. So what do you think goes on with D-Hop?
Here comes the fourth head of the free agency train that everybody will go to. I don't know. If I'm D-Hop, I don't even know if I want to re-sign in Kansas City.
Well, that's my thing. I don't think it even matters that the Chiefs like him.
If I'm Marquise Hollywood Brown, I don't know if I want to re-sign in Kansas City.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. Like, at this point, I don't think it matters that they liked D-Hop, that they wanted D-Hop, that they had D-Hop. They didn't use D-Hop. So what makes D-Hop want to be back in Kansas
City? If I'm D-Hop and I'm old and I think I can get a Super Bowl, okay, well, cool. You almost won one here, but, I mean, we can be beat. We're not invincible. We proved that when we got our asses handed to us in the Super Bowl. So you've got a few teams to choose from. Go get yourself a mega team somewhere. It's one of those things. And if I'm D-Hop, honestly, I don't know if I want to be here. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in football. But the way that we've called our offense, the way that we've decided we don't want to protect for him, the way that we've decided that we just can't really get consistent playmakers to help you out. And then when you are the guy brought in to be the playmaker, you disappear. They told us it was, we're hampering D-Hop just to, so we get our third round pick. We don't want to lose certain picks. And then the playoffs come around when all that's out the window and D-Hop gets about 5 targets.
Right.
So why do you want to be here? If I'm Hollywood Brown, why do I want to be here? Why do I want to play with Mahomes when Mahomes has turned into a check down merchant because we can't block for him?
Here's the thing, dude.
Like, I'm being honest. Like, you can be a chief homer, or you can look at it from an outside perspective. And if I'm one of these big-time wide receivers, I don't even know if I want to come here. The offense looks horrible lately. Matt Nagy, Andy Reid, I don't know who it is, but the offense looks like trash. And I don't know if I want to be here. You can go to Buffalo and catch moon balls all day long and have your quarterback babied. I'm done. You can talk. Yeah. I'm pissed today. I'm having a day. But look, I'm telling the truth. Pissed off Mike will tell you the truth. Like,
well, hey, let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. I'll just keep going. I'll keep going. Let's see. Center Ryan Kelly, defensive tackle Sheldon Rankins, cornerback DJ Reed, safety Justin Reed. Oh, Justin Reed. We're not going to
honestly. Justin Reed is the best player you named for what he offers. Now, are we going to be able to afford him? Probably not. But he's the first guy that you say that I would be like, yeah, I'd like to have him back.
All right. We got defensive end Josh Sweat. We all know him very well. Defensive tackle BJ Hill. Defensive tackle DJ Jones. Quarterback Sam Darnold. Mike, do we go out and get Sam Darnold?
We may need Sam Darnold. The way Mahomes may be somewhat destroyed by the end of the year. It's a miracle that this cat's still upright. After 7 years of punishment we put him through, we may need to go get Sam Darnold because the King Henry or whoever we brought in last year, he stunk.
Prince Harry?
Yeah, Prince Harry. King Henry, Prince Harry, same thing. He stunk when he got an opportunity. Now, I know everybody sit on the bench that game, and we had
I think he's okay, though.
Amazing offensive line. He may go this year, though. I don't know if he comes back either.
Yeah,
he may get a starting job somewhere.
Wide receiver Mike Williams, no 31-year-old.
I'm not playing here.
Man. Right. Cornerback Jonathan Jones, guard James Daniels, quarterback.
Jonathan Jones didn't get signed last year, did he? He was just sitting around all year.
Yeah, he's 32. He's eating Cheetos on the couch, brother.
This dude's trying those new pizza Cheetos.
Another backup quarterback possibility here, Zach Wilson. You got
Are we going to get fired up for a backup quarterback this year?
No.
Is that what's going to happen?
We're not doing that.
Carson Wentz may have been the biggest free agent signing we had last year besides Hollywood Brown.
We're not doing that shit this year, brother.
I bet we do.
Hey, okay, let's see. For real, though, like, we could keep going. We'll keep going here. I'm just going to start skipping people that we don't need, that we're not going to even remotely
Stanley said we're broke this year, man. Let's see what the rookie... Well, Stanley, give us a year that we're not broke.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, it's a broken record. Every single season, we can't sign anybody because we're poor.
Can we get a crumb of a football player, please?
Yeah. Can we get a crumb? Can we get a crumb of a football player, please? We're the only team in football that is poor, and everybody else, the salary cap's fictional. They're just out here signing everybody, trading for everybody. They don't care, man.
Mike, we had a 5-bomb from our boy Flapjack. He said, I just feel the weapons we pick up free agents.
You're right.
We never use them. It's like the wide receiver just run clear out routers. Am I wrong? No, you're not wrong. And that's,
you're completely valid.
That's kind of the point that we were talking about D-Hop and some of these guys. Like, why do they want to come play here? Like, DeAndre Hopkins literally was not D-Hop. He was Decoy this year.
Yeah, he was Decoy. They changed his name. I think Hollywood Brown would have been a focal point if he had stayed healthy, which it wasn't his fault.
I think we saw that. That was pretty apparent in the offseason, right? During camp and everything. You could tell they were wanting to
But Hollywood Brown is going to be given a lot more attention this year than I think he was last year because the wide receiver free agency market is kind of trash. And now he was kind of at the top of it last year to me. I don't know how he didn't get signed over like Curtis Samuel and all them.
Well, let me ask you this. So DeAndre Hopkins came in halfway through the season, and they just kind of threw him into the offense. They did not use him. Very, very sparingly. It was weird. But do you think if they were to sign him for one more year and keep him around for whatever reason they might think, do you think if he gets an entire offseason and he gets, game planned in like earlier, do you think that he could be used more? Or do you think it would be more of the same that we saw last year?
It's the same. Why? He's at this point in his career, D-Hop is a possession receiver kind of guy. He's not a guy that's going to go out and catch the ball in space and make moves.
Isn't it easy? It shouldn't even be like hard at all for Mahomes. Like the directions are written in your face. Like it's D-Hop one-on-one in man, throw it to him. Like that. It should be that easy.
If I'm Mahomes, I go to the line. I want to determine whether they're in zone or they in man. If you're in zone, I'm going to put Kelsey at the top of my list because he's a zone buster.
Right.
If Rashee Rice is healthy, I'm putting him right there. If it's man-to-man, I probably look more at this day and age to D-Hop, and I would have looked at Rashee Rice or Hollywood in man-to-man situations. I don't know how that's hard. But it feels like on every single opportunity that Mahomes has to make that decision, it feels just wrong.
It's just wrong, man.
Brett Veach said it. He said Mahomes is seeing ghosts. He's seeing things on the defense that's not even there.
Yeah, I just think
he's outthinking himself. But who could think?
D-Hop's an easy receiver to play with, in my opinion. I
Right.
feel like if he's if he's one-on-one in man coverage, you're throwing him the ball because he's going to win that 98% of the time.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, but it's never that easy.
But Mahomes don't have time to process none of this.
Mike, it's
he's running for his life.
It's about as easy for us to hit D-Hop in a one-on-one situation as it is for us to sign a good free agent in the offseason.
It's damn near impossible. Look, I'm going to tell you, the only time we'll spend money on a free agent, Flapjack, is a questionable one.
Like Jawan Taylor?
Jawan Taylor, $80 million, overpaid. We signed him the moment the freaking free agency kicked off. I'm talking we signed him before. The dude can't play left tackle. That was a whole entire, he's going to be the left tackle. No, he's not. He can barely play right tackle. Okay? We went out and signed a big linebacker a few years ago with Brett Veach. I don't even want to say his name. It's like Voldemort. He stunk. Like every time we go out and pay big money for somebody, they stink it up.
Are you talking about Anthony Bitchens?
Don't want to talk about him. Every single time that we'll finally spend money, we whiff.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they don't do it.
You know, real quick, you were talking about the Eagles and how they're able to just do what they want, right? Let's see them. Like it's crazy as they've gone with.
They probably got $75 million in cap.
They
space.
have $21 million in cap space
still.
Right, and hold on. Has this been updated? Is this updated? Because if it's
Didn't
updated,
they just sign Jalen, whatever his name is, to like a 10-year contract for a crap load of money last year?
They signed Saquon Barkley. They extended him 2 years, $41.2 million, $36 million guaranteed,
for running back.
$15 million more in incentives, which was a record-breaking contract for a running back. You know what's funny is we can't even run the ball.
We can't even re-sign back our 7th round Isaiah Pacheco.
Well, that's the thing about it. We don't even run the ball. We ran the ball 3 times in the damn Super Bowl, Mike. What do we
don't even care. We don't even need a running back. What do we even have one for?
But linebacker, they re-signed linebacker Zach Bond for 3 years, $51 million.
Yeah, he was pretty good, and he's just going right back, man. Just give him more money.
So that's 2 massive ass contracts, and if this thing is updated on Spot Rack, they still have a lot of cap space. Like they still have $21 million after all that. If this is up to date, that blows my mind.
Go look at their backloaded void years.
Right. I don't understand.
They just know how to work the cap. Look, they figured out a system to beat the cap. That's all there is to it. They figured it out. Colin, whatever his name is, his name's Colin. I mean, if that don't tell you, his last name's Artist. If it doesn't tell you that he's figured out a way to beat the cap, then I don't know who will.
Who are you talking about?
Their owner, or whatever his name is, their GM.
Howie Roseman?
Oh, who's Con? Which one's Con?
I have no idea.
I don't know. I'm an idiot. Anyway, the point is Howie Roseman. That's who it is. Are you sure they're not owned by somebody? Where did I get that name?
What in the hell?
What in the hell?
I don't know.
But the point is, dude, what? Like the Chiefs are just the only ones that always feel just confined by a salary cap. We're the only ones that every offseason we've been conditioned to say, ever since the Carl Peterson days, all we've talked about is how we don't have money.
We're poor. We ain't got money for that. Peter Ortiz with the 5 gifted memberships. If you're
Thanks,
poor,
Peter.
If you're poor and you don't have money for a membership, Peter's got you.
Peter got you.
Peter's got you. Appreciate that, Peter. Thanks so much, buddy. And if you got one of those memberships because you're poor and you didn't buy your own, then you thank Peter in the chat. All right, let's do that. But for real, appreciate you, my man. Then we got a 10 bomb from Hannah. She says, I'm on Team Mike
Ron,
today.
thanks, bro. The Jags. The Jags is con. I forgot. Yeah.
Hannah says she's on Team Mike today. Says we
Thank
can't
you.
ever afford players in free agency while the Eagles have $390 million of cap and money and void years, picking up all-star teams versus Kansas City at $2 million. Come on, Veach. Have y'all heard of high risk, high reward?
I just think we give away our money in weird spots. Like, look, Jawan Taylor's put us in a weird spot. So why has he not been restructured 2 weeks ago?
So let me put this out there.
I'd have got him restructured last
Let me
year.
put this out there into the atmosphere. Okay. And it sucks because you kind of bent yourself over backwards with that contract. With Jawan Taylor, you're looking at the first 3 years, you might as well just keep the guy on the team because you gave him $60 million.
Yeah, he's not out to the fourth, which
Right.
is still one more
You
year.
gave him $60 million. But at this point, like, you have to be thinking, do we restructure him and then potentially cut him later? Like, I don't know. What can you do?
I mean, he's not a horrible.
He's
right
not
tackle.
horrible. He's fine, but he's not good enough
worth
to
the
be
contract.
Exactly. He's not good enough to be kind of screwing up what you got going on as far as
That's like saying, "Oh man, Justin Watson, he's pretty serviceable, man. He can do the X. He can make a play here and there. Okay, cool. He's getting $1 million a year. It's like paying him like $10 million a year to do that. Yeah, then
Yeah.
we'd be like, hello, $10 million, like $80 million for him. We still got a whole another year of Chris Collinsworth and every person under the sun crying about this guy false starting every play. Like, if I have to hear that one more time, I'm going to lose my mind.
It's funny though because like his play, he did have a rough patch this season, but I mean overall, Jawan Taylor, his play has been pretty good. Like he's a good right
Does
tackle.
it feel like the Chiefs have became such the negative punching bag for just every single person? I'm talking like the media has no class anymore. They just jump on it. The announcers don't care. Analysts don't give a rat's ass. Nobody cares. Everybody's just on hate
Fans
the
and
Chiefs.
Casuals are terrible. Yeah.
Exactly. Everybody, to the point that like every single narrative, and we already know what the narrative is going to be this year, Steve. This is going to be a whole nother year of Jawan Taylor false starts every play. Taylor Swift, they cheat for Taylor. Like, we already know what's coming. This is Groundhog Day, year in and year out.
Yep.
And it is annoying.
You think the Chiefs
Like,
have
let's
turned
change
in,
the narrative.
Do you think the Chiefs have turned into a team that literally has let the media and casual fan
Define
pressure
them.
get to them and define
Yes.
them?
I think they did. Here's what I would do. I'd get rid of Jawan Taylor any way I could. I'm
Bye,
tired
buddy.
of hearing about it. I'm getting rid of that whole stupid narrative
See
of
ya.
we've got a right tackle that goes.
Okay, so
I don't know how you do it.
Jawan
but you do
Taylor,
it.
Jawan Taylor, good right tackle. Outside of the penalties, you don't really have much to complain about. But if you were to just say, "Here's your walking papers, buddy. See you later," would Wanye or Kingsley be that bad at right tackle? Would it be that big of a drop off?
I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe so. Who knows? But I'm not living with the narrative anymore. So it's like, look, I'm over it. I'm just
what-
tired of it.
Let me ask you this real quick, and then we'll get to the chat.
To be
some
honest,
more.
you don't really jump every time. People are just stupid and don't know the rules.
Right.
But I just get tired of hearing it. So yeah, I guess I'm going to let them dictate what I'm going to do with my life. So I'm just going to get rid of them.
Well, let me ask you this real quick before I keep going with the chat. But at what point does Brett Veach and Andy Reid and all of them, what point do you have to start using the guys that you're drafting? Like, at what point are you going to stop drafting guys that sit on the bench?
The defensive players, they get play.
Only the cornerbacks.
Well, yeah. I mean, Felix has kind of looked like trash, though. He looked a little better this year.
And it's weird, too, because
Leo
the Chiefs,
still hasn't
the Chiefs, for the most part,
Logged meaningful snaps, a
you
lot
know,
of them.
like a lot of people, like I was mentioning yesterday how some teams have taken the approach of just stacking up their team as a Pro Bowl team and trying to win Super Bowls. And
Texans,
it's worked for some teams in the past, as far like the Buccaneers and the Rams, and somewhat. I mean, their Eagles were pretty homegrown, but they had a lot of guys they went out and bought too. So
The
like-
Eagles have found a way to draft. They had 2 first-round draft picks last year.
Yeah.
They found a way to do both. They get infinite draft picks. They are really playing
So-
NFL in easy mode right now. They're playing it on a rookie mode.
But the Chiefs, like, when I was having this conversation, the person I was having the conversation with was like, well, the Chiefs are like that. They're stacked too. And it's like, I started thinking about it, and I'm like, what do you mean that the Chiefs are stacked? I guess they went out and they got a couple weapons last year with D-Hop and Hollywood, but that was because of injuries, basically. It's the only reason they had D-Hop.
They only signed him because they wasn't getting big money interest from anybody else.
The Chiefs are a pretty homegrown team. If you think about the big names, the big players on this team that were drafted and developed here.
Do you know that 95% of the guys we end up in free agency are just players that other teams pass up and don't get the big money deals, and they have to sign prove-it deals? We live off nothing but prove-it deals from picked over. I'm not trying to devalue people like Drew Tranquil or anything like that, but he was literally just kind of not given a big deal. He came here on a prove-it deal. He done really well, got himself a contract here. But that happens with us all the time. Like Hollywood, he was just picked over. If he would have got any offer from anybody, he wouldn't have been in Kansas City last year. Like, he didn't want to just come here and just sign for $7 million. He did it out of necessity because he had to, or he's going to be on the couch. Like, and once we're like the
this might be
how
the first.
are we so good of a team and a franchise, but yet we can't get anybody to want to come here on their own free will? We just get them because they're stuck.
This is one of the first episodes we've had in a while where we got Angry Mike. Just hey, Peter said he loves you, but he wants to know who messed with your Rice Krispies this morning.
Dude,
Mike, who pissed in your cereal? Was it
I'm going to tell
Christian
you what
Kirk?
happened today. No, I'll tell you what happened today. I woke up this morning. I lost money before I even took a piss because I got an alert on my phone that 3 or 4 of my stocks just ate it. Just all day long. The stock market's bleeding. The economy sucks balls. Everything sucks right now, okay? I'm losing money hand over fist. I can't do it. And then I get on here, and Christian Kirk goes for a 7th round pick in 2026. And I just wanted that guy last year. I just wanted him. Why couldn't we have made this work?
We don't have a 7th round pick to spare, dude.
Shut up.
Let's move on. Javier Sanchez with the 5 bomb says, did Patrick and Travis show up to training camp not overweight this year? He's tired of seeing them be fatties and be out of shape.
I want to see Travis show up and not look like death walking across the field. That poor guy, man. Steve, I didn't think he was going to make it last year.
Yeah, he looked pretty rough out there.
Was that telling? Like, we should have known a season was coming.
Mike, I think that's been the last 2 years of camp where he looked like he was barely walking off the field. But
He's tired, dude.
does Javier have a point here? Patrick, people said Patrick looked out of shape last year. That was a whole dad bod thing. And Kelsey, he's done a lot of talking on New Heights about how he wants to come back and play. And he wants to be in the best shape he's been in, and he's going to be way better than last year. Like, what do you think? What do you think? Is there anything to this? Do they need to focus on the game? Do they need to not worry less about the commercials and the
that's
endorsements?
stupid. They do it in the offseason.
And the acting and the game show hosting.
Was Pat overweight?
Pat has a dad bod.
I mean, he just got a dad bod. He's never had a 6-pack. Like, I think people just blew that out of proportion too last year. That's how we started our season, was the fake meme of Patrick Mahomes walking around with a beer belly.
They kind of like set the tone.
Speaking of tone that up.
Set the tone.
I don't know.
Hey, Flapjack.
I don't think it's.
Flapjack with the 5 bomb says if that left tackle position doesn't pan out, we're going after Veach's head.
I don't know what he can do with
Do
it.
you get the pitchforks out on Veach? At what point do you get the pitchfork out
Steve,
on Veach?
what can Veach reasonably do right now to help the position? He can't conjure a player out of thin air. There's nobody really on the free agency market.
The only thing you can do is say they missed some opportunities.
I would be willing to bet that I bet you the Ravens will end up getting a deal done with Stanley. He don't even see the free agency market.
That'd be my guess too.
Who you got?
Apparently,
And
rumor has it they're willing to pay him up $21 million a year, so he probably will stay there.
Yeah. So what's he going to do? If he trades 300 picks to get into the top 10, who you got? T-Rex Arms out of LSU, or the big boy out of Memphis? Or I'm sorry, I said Memphis, Missouri. That's been a right tackle only almost his whole career. That is still just a projection kind of guy.
Yeah.
There's just no solid definitive answers out there. So I don't know what Veach is going to be able to do. And again, this is why we keep saying DJ Humphries might be your best bet. And the more I go back and watch film of DJ Humphries playing in that Broncos game, My God, he looked horrible.
Yeah, it was sketchy.
This dude wasn't even touching people.
Well, at what point can people get the pitchforks out on Brett Veach, and at what point is it justified? We're talking about a guy that since he's took over here, it's literally the Chiefs have been just romping the league. Total domination. So, I mean, like, yes, there's this left tackle problem. Yes, there's been some bad drafts. But at what point is it justified? Like, does he get, like, you know, is there a few years where he has to suck real bad for it to start? Or can you pull the pitchfork out now, like Flapjack says? Like, if they don't get this left tackle position taken care of, go ahead and let's start chasing Veach with the pitchforks.
Who are you going to bring in to replace him? You find me a guy better, not named Howie Roseman.
Mike, we vote you.
I'll do it.
We want somebody that gets angry for no reason, just wakes up pissed off, and yells at everybody.
Dude, I'll just one day wake up, check my phone, dropped $100 before I ate breakfast, and I ain't even had breakfast today. You want to know why? I was so pissed off. Don't even want to eat. I had half of a meatball sub from Subway yesterday because I'm out here on $10 footlongs because $5 footlong ain't a freaking thing no more.
$10 not either, bro.
$10
They're like
either.
$15.
A $17 footlong.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just had to eat. It's like eating caviar for lunch yesterday. Okay,
Delicious meatball
and I'll just
sub.
wake up pissed off. I'll trade anybody at any moment. Don't tempt me.
Let's do it. Our boy Justin Flanders with the
go.
gifted membership. Appreciate you, Justin. If you got that membership, make sure to thank him in the chat. We got Perry with the 2 bombs. Says the 23 draft class has hurt us. Look at the misses.
Who is the 23? Bring up 2023. I want to know every player.
Okay.
What's his name? Ian, bring up 2023.
Ian, bring it up, brother.
Bring up 2023. Where'd he go?
I don't know. He disappeared.
Everybody's disappeared.
He didn't like your joke about. Okay. The 2023 draft class, Mike, was Felix Anudike Uzama,
Look, that was a reach.
Rashi Rice. Now,
That was
granted,
good.
they hit on
I'll
Rashi
hit
Rice.
that. That's a
but
hit.
here's the thing, and I'm a big advocate of this. I don't think you can let Rashi Rice muddy the water for you on how bad this 23 draft class was.
Oh, no, you can't.
Let's keep going.
Because
Let's keep going.
Rasheed Rice was good, but, I mean, Patrick Mahomes took care of that situation for
keep
us
going.
last year.
Offensive tackle, Wanye Morris.
He's a serviceable positional, what's it called? Like, he could slide up and down the line in a pinch.
He's depth.
He's depth. That's it. They took a depth piece in the 3rd round. Congrats.
The 4th round, they took defensive back Chamari Connor. Okay.
Chamari's been okay. I think he's
Right,
played
that was a
above his-
reach. That was a reach from hell.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a reach, but I think he's played above his expectations.
Okay, and then defensive end B.J. Thompson, obviously he's had some medical issues, so.
But that
it
was
is
an
what
out
that
of
is.
pocket. That was one of the first ones we ever took that wasn't a
Mike-
big, couldn't turn around in a 40-acre field kind of defensive end that could set the edge. And they didn't even use them.
No, and the thing about it is, I also think that was a reach because I liked B.J. Thompson.
That was
Mike,
a
but if you remember
reach.
that year, I had us taking
He was
B.J.
a 7th
Thompson
round
in the
pick.
7th round.
Yeah, we had him as a 7th round grade.
Yeah,
And for some reason,
well, we said
did
the
we
Chiefs were going to
trade
take
up?
him in the 7th round, and we got him in the 5th.
Did we trade up in the
I don't
5th to take
remember.
him too?
I don't remember. But then we had 6th round defensive tackle Keandre Coburn. What a miss.
The funny thing is Keandre Coburn actually looked like he could have done something.
He did nothing.
And he did nothing.
And then cornerback Nick Jones from Ball State, who don't even play here either. So
Doesn't make a lot of sense on that one because Nick Jones looked pretty good in his limited action in his first season.
That
He
was the
also
draft class,
played the slot, which is what they cried about not being able to do this year. And yet he sat on the practice squad and then got booted for a guy they brought in from Dallas, Eric Scott, who also didn't even get a chance to play. I have no idea what they were doing
we can't have
with the
another
corner room this
2023
year.
draft class. We can't do that.
We
have to have
can't.
a-
But what happened with the corner room this year? Why was there such a weird rotation there?
The fact that the thing that I thought was the weirdest thing, and I know we talked about it all season, but to me, the defensive back room, Josh Williams not being on the field and Ozzie Johnson getting out there just cooked was
That
crazy
was
to me.
wild because at the end of the year, they played the same snaps, and Josh Williams' numbers are identical to Jalen Watson.
It wasn't even like stat-wise or numbers-wise. It was the eye test. Like, why isn't Ozzie Johnson on this field and why is Josh Williams not?
I'm going to tell you why. Because I think Spags used to be known and the Chiefs used to be known as an in-your-face, beat the hell out of you, L'Jarius Sneed kind of corner defense. We played a lot of man-to-man. We played a lot of press. And over the last few years, Spag started adding more zone and adding more zone. And this year, he zoned himself right out of ever stopping anybody on a third down. Okay? So I think that they've got a little too cute trying to implement the zone, and you got away from it. Josh Williams was drafted as a big, physical, beat the hell out of you kind of corner. Okay? Is he going to have some penalties here and there? Yeah. The whole league is nitpicky on anybody trying to stop the offense from scoring. Every rule is slated to the offense. So, of course, you're going to get penalties and holds and here and there. But he still had less than like 8 or 9. I can live with 8 or 9 freaking penalties in a 17-game season, bro. Okay? And most of his penalties were on freaking special teams. Who cares? Okay?
Most of them were.
Special teams is a free-for-all. Everybody holds on every play. They just call it when they want.
That's true. Our girl Nikki, been a member for 18 months now. She says only thing Veach can do is have them tank this year so they can get a top 10 pick.
No.
Tank
We're
in the
not
middle
tanking.
of it. Hey, according
At
to
least
the
on
media,
purpose, we won't
according to
tank.
the mainstream media, Mike, our Super Bowl window's closed. So,
might as well tank, you know?
you know what's weird is
I just
literally last year, not last season, but the season before that, the Chiefs won a Super Bowl. The year before that, they won a Super Bowl. And both of those, by all metrics, was rebuild years. But the thing about it is, we're not rebuilding. Like, why are we stuck in a rebuild year? Have you noticed that? Because even Brett Veach himself, when they won the Super Bowl 7? He came out and was like, hey, this is what a rebuild year looks like with the Lombardi, remember? This is what a rebuild year looks like. Okay, cool. So I like that. Way to rub it in there, Veach. Tell everybody that we kicked your ass, won the Super Bowl in a rebuild year. Why are we still 3 years later in a rebuild year?
We're in an infinite rebuild year.
That's what I'm saying. At what point are we not rebuilding?
You're always going to be in a rebuild year.
And I'll tell you what, I don't think we were in rebuild years those years. I think now more than ever you're in a rebuild.
Yeah, I
because
think
now is where you
consider
have to
that a
start making
rebuild
these
year,
decisions.
This year's more of a rebuild year.
I think Joe Tooney being traded off for that 4th round pick, I think that was the first of many things to come. It's going to look way different on this team next year.
Look, it's got to be more of a rebuild now. It's a rebuild every year here because we've discussed this. The Chiefs primarily will put the majority of their money on the offense, and somehow that only goes to one player and an overpaid offensive lineman. Yeah. And then Joe Tooney was literally one of the top 3 or 4 highest paid on the team. So now you've got that out, but now Trey Smith's just going to take his place. So it's basically that. They never have money for like big time weapons at wide receiver. They never have money for a big time running back. And then the defense, they can afford to pay maybe Chris Jones, maybe a corner, which you've seen L'Jarius Sneed couldn't even pay him last year. So they basically paid a little bit of money at the time for Justin Reed at safety. They paid Chris Jones. Nobody else. Everybody else is a rookie. We've said this. They draft, they get rookies on defense. They have to start for the defense to be good. That's how it works. And Brett Veach, 1 year gaps every single player. It's a 1 year deal. 1 year deal. He's doing 21 years every single season. And look, this year he got it again. You had to do it last year. He did it with Turk. He did it with Noddy. He did it with everybody down the board just about. Except for Mike Dana, the one that was supposed to be $16 million a year. Nobody give him any interest, and the Chiefs come back and sign him for a 3 year deal.
Was that?
I like Mike Dana, but Mike Dana's nothing ever more than a depth piece.
Mike, we got 10. Is this pounds? What is that? We got
I'm
10.
Say it's a pound, baby.
From Dub Freak, baby. He says, we are a prisoner of our consistent success. Constantly drafting late will come back to haunt us in the long term. Eagles and 49ers, etc., all have had down years to help reload. I think there is something to that. Because, like the Eagles, they were in the Super Bowl a few years ago.
How did they get 2 firsts last year? How did they get the second first?
I don't know. I'm sure it was in a trade, obviously.
Yeah, it was a trade of some sort, but I don't remember what happened.
I'm not sure. But he's not wrong. Those two teams have been really good, and then they'll go from good to bad. And they've kind of, it's been up and down, up and down. The Chiefs have been up here, bro, for 7 years now, just riding high. So, we haven't had that opportunity. The highest draft pick we've had in years is when we traded up and took Trent McDuffie at like 21.
Well, that kind of reminds me of the Eagles last year. They got the 2 first. They end up winning the Super Bowl. We grabbed the 2 first. That helped us put us over the edge, right?
Yeah. Isn't it weird that this was the first year for Trent McDuffie and George Karlaftis and those guys to not win a Super Bowl? They didn't know what it was like to not win a Super Bowl until now.
Yeah, they didn't have a clue. They were like,
That's
"What
pretty
is
wild.
this?"
That's pretty wild to think about. But do you think there's something to that? The Chiefs consistently being at the top, not having any down years, is that what kind of makes it tough? Is that why they're in a different boat?
Well, let's go back to 2017. Patrick Mahomes, they traded up for him, right? So he was the number 10 pick. You got Patrick Mahomes. In 2018, we'll call that a Brett Veach season. I know that it wasn't Brett Veach, but we'll say Brett Veach had an impact. We'll call that Brett Veach from 2017 on. Can we do that? Is that fair?
Sure.
Okay. 2018, we traded out of the first round. We didn't even get a pick. So no first round pick in 2018. No first round pick in 2019. In 2020, whiff, Clyde Edwards-Helaire took a running back. Whiff, 0 for 1 on a first round pick. In 2021, no pick in the first round because they give it up for Orlando Brown Jr. So the first 4 years after Patrick Mahomes, we have 1 pick out of 4 in the first round, and it's Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Okay? 2022, we had McDuffie and Karlaftis. Really good picks right there. Solid guys. I think both of them should actually have a future here in Kansas City for the next contract. 2023, Felix. That was a hometown sentimental pick that did not pan out. I'll give him another year, but right now it's looking as almost, 50-50 that's just going to be a complete bust, and that's probably being generous.
Yeah.
So your only 2 picks, minus McDuffie and Karlaftis, was Anyudike Uzama and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. A, it has a hyphenated last name, which I tell you that's the only thing they look for in the scouting process. And B, that's it. They're both kind of just big bust. And then last year, we hit Xavier Worthy. I think Xavier Worthy is pretty much a hit.
Yeah, Xavier Worthy's going to be good.
But Xavier Worthy is probably not a hit if he goes anywhere but Kansas City. I feel like if you know what I mean? Like, I feel like he just fits this offense so well that they forced it to work.
If Buffalo, if they wouldn't have traded us the pick, he could have worked there.
I can see it. I'm just going to say he's a hit. So Brett Veach has hit 3, and he's missed 2, and he's not even drafted in the first round 3 times. So even when we get first round picks, we're no better than a 50-50 hit percentage.
Yeah. It's a tough one. But see, isn't Brett Veach's MO is to get good picks late for good value? You hear about Jalen Watson.
Yeah, that's what
Pacheco. He's doing. It's hard to do that, dude. It's
so
not easy to.
So I
to
guess
hit
what I'm
guys
trying to
that late in
say,
the
and
draft.
it's nothing to do with Dub Freak Freer here, but what I'm trying to say is you just said it. Our first round game is kind of mid.
Stinks.
We hit later in the draft. So by default, is really being good every year hurt you? Because we're picking 64.
But isn't it kind of hard? Like,
we're picking
I think
97.
to his point though, it's easier to pick a good player in the top half of the first round than it is at 31, 32.
Yeah, I guess so. But I don't want to find out.
Yeah, we don't want to find out. Flat Jack with the 5 bomb says, if we were serious about that 3-point. 3-peat.
I know. Together.
I know. We should have threw money like crazy in free agency last year, buy us a Super Bowl, then clean house this year.
He was ready to just buy the 3-peat.
I was there too.
I think they could have been a little more aggressive.
To the point that he's making here. You look back at last year, it's like, oh, you can make history. You can have a 3-peat. We could just go out and get all these pieces in the offseason and just really load up, and then we'll unload after. We're kind of in that position now with a Super Bowl loss. So, regardless, you were kind of going to be in that position, so why not? Like, I'm kind of with them. I think they should have probably tried to.
Who should they have got? Because we had Hollywood as our number 1 guy on the board. It's kind of cool we got him for $7 or $8 million. We didn't think we were going to get him for that.
Well, here's what I think the Chiefs have invested in pass rush somewhat. Obviously, they paid Chris Jones. They drafted George Karlaftis. They drafted Felix, who didn't pan out. But I think they got to be more serious about the pass rush.
Oh, who said that last year? And everybody said I was stupid.
Nobody said you were stupid.
Everybody. We don't need that. Dude, we needed a pass rush. We needed defensive ends. I keep saying edge needs to be at the top of your list. You want to know why edges go in the top 10 every draft? There's like multiple. Because that is a premium position, man.
Yeah.
We skimp premium positions. We don't take left tackle seriously. We don't take edges that serious. Even when we take one, we're taking him because he's a hometown guy at the end of the first round because it's in Kansas City.
I
love Felix,
So
but come on.
what we need to do is figure out how to just go pay Schnoz. You want to bring Joey Bosa in here?
Which one's he?
Schnoz.
Is he the Chargers guy
Yeah.
or the Niners guy? I
Schnoz.
prefer the Niners guy.
Big old nose. No, he's the one from the Chargers, but he's still good.
He's not bad.
Obviously,
How
we're
much
not
is
gonna,
he gonna
obviously
garner?
we're not going to pay Joey
No.
Bosa.
How much is he going to make?
There's no telling. But here's the thing about it: if in a hypothetical,
You almost can't
fake
do it because
world,
we paid Chris Jones.
right? In a hypothetical fake world, if they were to go out and sign a guy like Joey Bosa and you put him on the line with George Karlaftis, Chris Jones, Turk Wharton, if you sign him back, whatever, what have you, does that totally
Our
turn the defense?
Yes, that automatically elevates your quarters that we struggled with last year, apparently.
Okay, well, here's another thing. Our defense played pretty good last year. Our offense stunk.
That's been the story for years.
Right, so does that even help you by spending the money there?
It's
I
not
don't
going to
know.
happen anyway because I'm going to tell you what they're going to do. You're never going out and getting a guy like that. They will spend 3/4 of the money that Bosa's going to make, and they'll just sign back Karlaftis for 5 years. And again, I really like Karlaftis, and I think he's earned another deal here. But Karlaftis is always he's always probably in his career going to be a number 2 edge. He's never going to be like that premier Myles Garrett guy.
Yeah.
He's not going to be that Max Crosby guy. He's not going to be the Bosa's guy.
Speaking of Max Crosby, props to that guy.
So
He
we're
signed
gonna
a
overpay.
3-year extension for
We're going to pay a number
$106
2
million.
guy. You're right. But
Good
Brett
Lord.
Veach will pay a number 2 guy as a number 1, and then that's what we're going to have. And Karlaftis is going to be our premier edge rusher for the next 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
And I like Karlaftis, but is
Flapjack with another 2. We know what you're saying, Mike. I love Karlaftis too, but Flapjack with another 2. He said Chris Jones lives in Footlong City. What about that, baby?
Don't talk about it.
He got that $5. Chris Jones is the $100 million footlong.
Man, I like Chris Jones, and I think Chris Jones got what he should have got. And I'm
But
glad
still,
that we
it
signed
still
him
hurts
back.
a little bit, doesn't it?
Well, again, I think now you got to start doing something with the contract. You got to figure out a way. Every year he's going to have to convert something. He's going to have to do something now. You're going to have to start playing these games like all these other owners are playing, or you're not going to be able to keep up. And again, at the end of the day, people's going to be like, well, we don't play those games and we're still successful. But you can see how the league's going. The
We
NBA
still have another 10 years of Patrick Mahomes that we
Right.
have to account for here.
But still, the NBA's done it. They've went through the phases. They're still doing it. What did the Lakers go do? They just went out and traded for Luka Doncic, the best player in the league almost. So you just go out and take him.
Almost, he is. He's a beast.
So I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
it's still prevalent. You still got to go out and get people to win. Like, you can't just have Patrick Mahomes and nobody. You can't just have, and this is still 22 players 11 on offense, 11 on D. So you can't just have Patrick Mahomes and Chris Jones.
Gotta help
you can't
them
just
out.
have 2.
Gotta help him out.
You've got to have 5 and 6 good premier players to be able to be a dominant team. Like, do people do that? Well, the Eagles figured out a way to do it.
Yeah. Hey, we got a 20 bomb from Perry. Let's go, Perry. He says, lunch on me, Mike. Let's keep the dream
Thanks,
alive.
Perry. Steve, you going to have lunch with me today?
I don't know about all that.
Oh, well.
You're in a
okay,
bad
cool.
mood today. You might yell at me the whole time.
You probably need to be yelled at today. You
Mike-
probably done something to be yelled at.
Mike, you know what would make Mike feel a little bit better? A little bit of Jersey Mike's. Jersey
That
Mike's.
really would make me feel better, and I
it
was
would.
actually considering it.
And Jersey Mike's, if you're watching or somebody that works for you is watching, this spot right up here.
Can I show you guys something?
Jersey Mike's logo would look real good up there.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Right up here, Jersey Mike's. Get it together. Steve, can I show you something?
What?
I want to show everybody something.
Show us real quick so I,
I
can get back
got-
to this chat.
Check this out.
Oh, yes.
A Josh Gordon signed weed jersey.
I just love that he signed it. He's like, okay,
Bro,
I'll sign it.
Josh Gordon signed it. It even verified. It's been through the verification process. Where'd it go? The sticker fell off.
It's
Oh,
there
wait, here it
somewhere.
is. I'm sorry. Here's the sign part. I didn't show you the right side. There you
No,
go.
we saw it. We saw it.
Okay. So, yeah. A little Josh Gordon. A little weed jersey. I mean, how cool is that? Josh Gordon played like 0
hilarious,
snaps
bro.
for us, by the way.
We might have to give that bad boy away.
Should I put that in a giveaway?
Somebody needs that. Somebody needs
Should
that.
we get? Yeah, we may give that away. It's funny. Who doesn't
Appreciate
want
the
a
20,
weed
Perry.
jersey? Julie
Appreciate
is
the
probably
20, Perry.
she'll try to smoke the jersey.
Got William Usher with the 7 Canadian. Says defensive line free agency is looking pretty good right now. Should the Chiefs cut number 90 to get Hendrickson?
Garrett or another high end.
Yeah,
I don't think they can pay those guys. We can't pay nobody here.
we're poor.
I'm just gonna say it. Like
Trey
we just got to
Hendrickson would
do
be
what everybody
an
else
absolute
says.
monster. Can you imagine? We were talking about Bosa.
We're too poor to pay these guys.
Imagine Trey Hendrickson. Well, he's a trade target, right? So he's already under contract. I don't know if that'd have to be restructured.
He'd
or
probably
what.
want to restructure it.
But either way,
You
that
think the
would be
Bengals
crazy.
are gonna? Wait, who are you talking about? Garrett?
No, Hendrickson and the Bengals have completely blacklisted the Chiefs. There's
Oh yeah,
no
they're
way,
not trading with us. That's what I'm
no
saying.
way that he can go.
And
talk
I've
to the
actually
Chiefs.
heard that the Browns are not in any.
Yeah, they're not even.
They're not even
entertaining
considering that.
They're just pissing Myles Garrett off to no end. He's so mad. You're stuck.
I mean, that's
buddy.
what they say. But if somebody offers, what they're trying to do is get somebody to be like, I'll get them to trade, and then you'll get a team like the Raiders come in and give them like 17 first-round picks
Yep,
to go with Myles Garrett.
maybe. But dude,
I don't know what you.
I mean-
he's going to end up with the Eagles. Let's just be honest.
well, to Williams'
Buffalo.
point. To Williams' point, though, when do the Chiefs and what I was saying earlier? When do they make a move to get a premier defensive end? Or do they
Sam
ever?
says Hendrickson's 31 years old too. I didn't know he was that old. I was thinking he's like 27, 28. If he's 31, man, I don't know. I ain't bringing him in either.
Yeah, I mean he's 30. He's going to be 31.
I don't know, William, man.
But he had 36 sacks in the last 2 years. So, I mean, guy's in his prime.
Canuck, what's up, brother? Appreciate the 7, William. Appreciate you, brother. I don't know. I wouldn't do it.
Let's move
Before
it
you
right
bring that
along.
one up, I want to bring this one up really quick.
Okay.
Canuck in the head said trading Tooney for nothing was ridiculous. Bro, we racked up for Joe Tooney. Did you see what Christian Kirk got traded for today? Dude, we racked up.
That was we got more
We
than
got
we
the deal of the century for a 33-year-old Joe Tooney for a 4th round pick next year. Christian Kirk went for a 7th round pick next year, bro. We racked up. I don't know what Chiefs Kingdom's thinking right now, but
Well-
we stole from the Bears for Joe Tooney.
In all seriousness, though, what he said was go get Ronnie Stanley. You still had Joe Tooney, and then the line's really good. That sounds great and all, but we had to get rid of Tooney just to free up $16 million just to still be $8 million in the hole.
And that's the
So-
only way we
so-
might get back.
So you're
Trey Smith.
talking Ronnie Stanley, who's going to be $21 million a year. If you would have kept Joe Tooney and signed Ronnie Stanley, then you're in the whole, good Lord, $40
I'm
million.
going to be completely honest, Steve. Here's how the offensive line needs to go.
Pretty wild.
In my opinion, they should not. If I were Brett Veach today and I woke up, actually, let's say I was Brett Veach a week and a half ago, I may have went ahead and traded Tooney. We'll say the Tooney trade has to go, but I don't think I would have tagged Trey Smith. I don't think I'd do it, and I'm going to tell you why. I don't think I'd do it.
I'm not a huge fan of it, to be honest.
I'm not a huge fan of maybe getting stuck with the $24-25 million if he don't sign deal.
Well, it also kind of like puts you in an armbar too, because it's like, well, you're either going to pay me this much a year, or I'm going to sit here and get paid $26 million this year and then leave.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't have done that, and if Trey Smith wanted to leave, I'd let him leave. And
A
here's
guard's a
why.
guard. I love Trey Smith, but a guard's a guard.
Because number one, I'm just going to have Creed Humphrey as my anchor in the middle. He's the best in the game. So that's where I'm going to start. I'm going to tell Jawan Taylor He needs to bring his ass into my office ASAP. We're going to restructure that $80 million contract. And if he don't want to do it, I'm trading him off for a bag of Doritos. Okay, I'm doing something, but I'm getting that fixed. And if he signs for a decent amount of money and we get it fixed, I'll have him at right tackle for one more season. So let's just say he fixes it and we've got Creed and we've got Jawan Taylor. I'm going to tell my guys that I have drafted out of Hunter Norzad, out of Kingsley Sumatai, out of Wanye Morris, out of Mike Caliendo, that the best two of you four are going to play my guards positions this year. And I'm probably going to have to stick with DJ Humphries this year as well. But here's what I'm going to do going forward. I'm going to invest in a high draft pick for another tackle, for another guard, and I'm just going to keep doing it that way. And if I have to go to free agency to pick up somebody, I'm probably going to try to spend money that way too. But really, there's nobody there in tackles. I know people's starting to get on this, who's that cat that come out of Alabama that sucked, that plays for the Cleveland? Jedrick? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Jedrick.
Is it Jedrick Willis? What's his name?
Willis. That's it.
I don't know who. I think Daniel Harms is the one that's brought this up, that the Chiefs need to go sign him. Daniel, no. Quit.
Danny
You're really
boy.
influencing people out here. I don't know why he's influencing people, but he is. Quit. We don't need that guy.
That guy
okay?
at his best is a 63 graded pass blocker.
That was the best season he ever had.
That's his best.
Steve, how many, you're looking at a stat, how many pressures did he give up last year?
Let me look real quick.
I guarantee you it's way too many.
I don't know if this is for the year or...
I don't care. How many has he got in his career? He's only played for what, 3 years?
Okay, in
4 years?
2024, he played 245 offensive snaps. He pass blocked on 168 of those. He allowed 3 sacks, 3 QB hits, and 11 pressures.
On 160 snaps?
So 10% he allowed pressure.
He played the equivalent of 2 football games. Maybe 3. And he led up 11 pressures and 3 sacks. That is no better than Kingsley. So why would I go pay him? I would just put Kingsley back out there. I think Kingsley and them guys, if they're not going to play left tackle, those guys have got to now come in and be stud guards. If Kingsley slides down to a left guard and becomes a stud left guard for the next 10 years, then that was a draft hit. Right?
Right.
So that's my point. Like, you've got to now you've seen that Wanye and Kingsley can't probably play left tackle. Get them to play the guard positions, and if they can't do that, get them out. You've got one backup. You know what I mean? Like, you started with tackle, you couldn't do it. Can you play guard? No, get out. Like, I'm just over it.
You got to go.
But isn't that what they need to do this year, though? I feel like that's just what they need to do. Commit to the young guys to play in the guard position, which they're not. They're going to sign Trey Smith, and then that's going to hamper us, and now we're not going to be able to sign back nobody else.
Anybody.
For the next 10 years,
Mike,
we're
we
now
got a
gonna
5
hear.
bomb from Mime to Brown. We're going to get to it. He says, Spags did the most he could with the personnel he had. If the players can't implement his scheme, he had to implement something they could do. Do you think that's why Spags has kind of gone to more of a zone because of his personnel? Or do you think that's just some
His
change
personnel screams man to man.
Yeah. I
Steve,
agree.
what is Jalen Watson? He's a man-to-man corner. What is Josh Williams? He was drafted as a man-to-man corner. What's Jamari Connor? He's a man-to-man guy. We don't have anybody across the board that should be playing zone. We have nobody. Nick Bolton's the slowest dude in human history, and we're going to put him in zone covering a space where he's got to change direction to guard wide receivers coming across the middle and tight ends. This is why. Look, Drew Tranquil stinks at it too.
Yeah.
He wasn't that good with it last year either. We have nobody to play zone. So if they want to implement zone, go get zone players. To me, you have a lot of guys that play man-to-man, and we said, hey, ain't going to do it. Let's play some zone.
We'll switch it up a little bit.
Let's go draft a point guard to play every position and try to post up people.
This man thing's not working out so well. I mean, we've only won a couple Super Bowls. Let's switch it up.
Let's put 5 Shaquille O'Neals on the team and we'll play Steph Curry style.
No knock to Spags, though. Spags is an absolute beast, but I don't understand that whole switch to go into more zone stuff. I don't know. Caleb with the 2 bombs says, have we done any contract restructuring yet? No, but they're going to have to. And Mike, you already hit on some of those guys, but I mean, to me, Jawan Taylor, that's an obvious one, but I think a more obvious one to me is Travis Kelce. Like, hey, buddy, you can have another year, you can play your contract out, but we're not going to pay you this much.
I'm sure Kelsey will do it. But, man, Kelsey has been criminally underpaid his entire career.
He has, so I'm okay with him not doing that to some extent, but I think if you're thinking logically, that's the first one you'd go to. And then Jawan Taylor.
Jawan
of
Taylor's
course,
the first
Patrick
one I go
Mahomes.
to.
They always restructure Mahomes. Chris Jones is a candidate. There's not a whole lot. I think Tooney was a candidate, but they just traded his ass. They're like, bye. I don't know. Is there anybody else that you can think of that they could go to?
K-Wayne.
What did K. Wayne do?
He's being wild.
Is he being a menace?
No. He's just cracking me up with his comments. What'd you say now? What was your
Are there
question?
any other guys that you could think about even restructuring? I don't think there's that many we could go to restructure.
Chris Jones.
Yeah,
I already he's got to do something. Okay, yeah. Chris Jones, Jawan Taylor, Travis Kelce, Mahomes. And it's funny because it's the pillars.
Yeah.
Well, minus Jawan Taylor. But
he's getting paid like a pillar.
Yeah, he's
It's
getting
a wild
paid like
part.
it. And that's why that was a miss.
Big time miss.
He's not a pillar of the organization. Okay? If he's a pillar of the organization, I'm a pillar of the freaking organization.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's many more places for them to go as far as that goes, but they've got to look at that. That's for sure. Peter Ortiz with the 25, baby. Let's go.
Let's go, baby.
He says ACU is a first-round pick for me.
Let me write that down, Peter.
Thanks for the gas, Peter. Let's go, baby.
Let me write that down. Thank you.
Appreciate the support, my man. Appreciate the support.
Appreciate
Mike,
you.
Mike, have we been a bust?
We've literally, yeah, I think so. I think we're proven to be a
By
bust
metrics,
right now.
we're a bust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The off-season's off-seasoning. And, I mean, everybody's a bust at this point, except for the number one pick.
Are they, though?
I mean, they just offer so much.
Yeah, true. We got a 2-bomb from KC Lion Squad. Says, we better not pick up any Bengals O-line players because they suck, but... That's what KC Lion Squad said.
Man,
I don't think you have to worry about it. They cut Alex Kappa. Is that his name?
If you could pluck any player off the Bengals and put him on our roster, not named Trey Hendrickson, who would you
Or
take?
T. Higgins or Jamar Chase or any of those guys? Or I can take those.
No, you can take T. Higgins or Jamar Chase or
Jamar
Joe Burrow.
Chase.
You just take, but his attitude, man.
Hate him. Looks like Mr. Potato Head. Shittiest attitude of all time.
Okay, you
But-
can't take T. Higgins or Jamar Chase. Is there anybody you would take?
No.
You would take a single player off that crap.
Nope, they can have them. They can have them.
I'd take Joe Burrow. I'd make him a backup.
You'd make them.
I'd take Joe Burrow. I bet Joe Burrow play left tackle. Pretty better, maybe better than what we got.
So yeah, I don't think we have to worry about that because they did cut Kappa, their guard, and I think the Raiders have already put a bid in for him. It's not official yet, obviously, but I think
When does
they're,
free agency kick
be
in?
2-year, $11 million contract.
What's the official day? Is it Tuesday
March
or Wednesday?
12th. I think it's March 12th.
You might be right, but it usually starts out on Wednesday, don't it?
I don't know. What day is it? What day is March 12th?
You could be right. Oh, that's a Wednesday. Okay, yeah, you're probably right then.
Which
March
means on
12th.
Tuesday night, we're going to announce a signing of someone random. Like
Yeah,
Jawan
it's going to be
Taylor.
the most. It's Jawan Taylor's cousin to play left tackle for $100 million.
Hey, hold on to your seats, ladies and gentlemen. No, there's going to be some stuff go down. There will be.
I think we're going to fall asleep.
This team's changing. They're
Dude, I
changing.
think
They
we're
have
going
to
to
do
fall
something
asleep during
different.
free agency.
That's a possibility too. But is that a problem? Is that a problem? Like, is it sleeping
Sometimes
during
winning
free
is
agency?
nothing.
Like, yeah, but okay. So the Chiefs. That's the thing about it. There's a lot of overreaction because the Chiefs lost the Super Bowl. So it's like, oh, the world's ending. But in the reality, they won 2 of the last 3 Super Bowls, and we're in all 3 of them. So, I mean, is the world really ending the way that the fans are acting? Like, oh, we have to do this. We have to do that. We have to get this player. We have to get... Do you think that Brett Veach is even in that mode at all, or is he like, this is going according to plan?
Brett Veach has never been in that mode. That's why he pisses everyone off.
But is he right to be that way? I mean, look at what they've been able to do. Do you think
Look,
he still
the
thinks they're
Chiefs-
riding that?
The Chiefs have won in a way that I think is hard to do. Yes, they've got the best quarterback ever, but if you take the best quarterback in the world off that roster, The Chiefs, I don't think, win this way. And so
Yeah.
I think Mahomes is dictating how we're having to play things in the offseason and with the draft, and then vice versa. We're also winning because of that. But, I mean, it gets tiring just taking these one-year deals over and over again, doesn't it? Perry
Yeah.
with a 5 telling him he's Joey's Angry Mike.
Yeah.
You know, it's a bubbled up frustration of a lot
Fire
of
'em
things,
up.
man.
Get him fired up. I did it today. I saw it in his eyes. I saw that he wasn't having a good morning. I said, "Hey, did you hear about Christian Kirk getting traded for a 7th round draft pick?" I knew that was going to set you off.
Actually, what was worse, that or Tutu Atwell making $10 million?
Yeah, the Tutu Atwell
bro.
one got you too. You were mad about that one.
Tutu Atwell, it's in his name. He's worth $2, and they give him $10 million, bro.
Well, later Hollywood Brown.
Yeah, that probably going to price out Hollywood.
Yeah, man, who do you think is going to just absolutely destroy free agency? Like, let's go back to the list. Do you think any of these guys just get paid an astronomical amount for no reason? That's the thing though. Like the top 10 free agents are old people. There is not a, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah,
6,
it's just
7,
a bunch
8.
of olds.
Out of the top 10, out of the top 10 free agency, there's only 3 guys that aren't 30 years old plus, and they're all 29.
Steve, they're decades younger than we are. We're sitting here being like they're old.
But I'm just saying, that's what you're looking at with free agency.
Yeah,
It's
a
pretty
bunch of guys
wild.
late in their careers. On
Well,
their final contract's going to be wanting to make bank.
I don't know why in the hell Deontay Johnson is even considered a top 10 free agent,
Dude,
because
people
he's an
keep
idiot.
naming him. I
He's
wouldn't-
dumb.
After what we witnessed last year, Deontay Johnson's the problem.
Abso-freaking-lutely.
He ain't
That
the
guy
solution
is a
to
moron.
nothing. He's the problem of everything.
Yeah, get him away. He's not going to do nothing in this
I
league.
seen somebody being like, the Chiefs need to bring in Deontay. What are you
he's
smoking?
He's not going to do nothing in this league.
Steve,
he
they
went
were
to Baltimore
smoking-
and acted like a freaking baby after they. Yeah, I don't know.
Smoking my jersey back here. That's
They've been hanging out with Josh Gordon.
Get out. Josh Gordon shouldn't be your GM.
But really, out of the top 10 guys, there's like nobody. It's literally older dudes, like you said, back into their career.
Gonna probably get more than they're worth because it's their
That-
last contract.
Or they take a stab at a ring. But the thing about it is, some of the guys on the list have one. Well, Chris Godwin, he's got one. Like he's only 29.
You think they're fine with just getting one ring though?
No, but I don't know if they're necessarily in the mode. Like if you already won a Super Bowl, are you in that mode? I got to go somewhere to win a ring. I got to.
I think at 29,
Like I feel like that's where that's
I feel
a
like at
position for
29, you're
D-Hop.
still in money mode. Yeah, I feel like you got to be 34, 35 to be in ring mode.
I feel like that's a position for like DeAndre Hopkins. Like, hey, I'm going to try to stay here for another year and see if I can get this thing because I've yet to kill one.
And he may go to the Eagles.
He might.
At least they'll throw moon balls up to him.
Didn't they go pay old ass Julio Jones last year or something? What's
Bro,
the
who
name?
haven't they paid? The Eagles send me a check every week in the mail.
Yeah, I get one too.
I don't even know what's going on. I just get a check every week from Howie Roseman and says, "Welcome to the team." And I'm like, not even a fan.
Actually, I hate you a little bit. Casey Lion Squad with a 2-bomb says, does Brady win with our Super Bowl rosters? That's a good question, and I don't know. Because we can go back and look at Tom Brady's stuff. He always had a top defense, right? But here's the thing. I think he would be able to move this offense at times that Patrick Mahomes cannot. Like in the Super Bowl, I think Tom Brady would have moved the ball better. Would he have won? Probably not the way things went, but I think he would have been able to adjust. Patrick Mahomes, one thing that he cannot do, and one thing he does not do, I'm not saying he can't do it, but he don't do it. He doesn't hot route anybody. They never take the quick. They never do anything that makes sense. Like he's getting absolutely beat down, and they just kept doing the same thing over and over and over and over again for the entire football game to the point where they were beaten into submission. Tom Brady wouldn't have allowed that. Even if the call came into his headset, he would have been like, "No, F that. Like, here's what we're going to do." Patrick Mahomes has got to get a little bit of that. Like, I'll see Patrick turn around and get mad at the sideline sometimes or look like he don't like what they're calling, but he'll continue to do it. Like, do you think that there's a connection there? Because I do. I kind of feel like there's got to be, at some point in Patrick Mahomes' career, he's got to grab this by the gonads a little bit, Mike, and tell Andy Reid, hey, this play's bullshit. I'm not doing it.
I think you're right. This is you hit right at what I was going to say. Tom Brady had two parts of his career. He had the first leg of his dynasty. He took a big break, and then he found the second leg, right? Mm-hmm. And then he actually had a third part of his career, which was old age. Let's go anywhere to win. Tampa. Mm-hmm. Let's retire down in Tampa where it's nice every day. That was his three. From his first year to his second year, from his first years, his first leg of his dynasty, he was a yes man. He was a Belichick yes man. And then somewhere he flipped the effort switch.
Yeah.
And that led to number two. And that's when Tom Brady got more laser focused. Tom Brady was more in control. He took control of everything. I think Patrick Mahomes got to get to that effort. I think he's too easygoing sometimes. I don't think he commands the field the way Tom Brady commands the team. And that's weird to say because I don't feel frantic when Mahomes is out there. You know what I'm trying to say? But
right.
I just don't. There's something about it. And again, it could be to KC Sports Report. The offensive line. It could be an offensive line issue.
I can't buy that, KC Sports Report. Here's the thing about it. If Tom Brady had the offensive line that Patrick Mahomes has had, the ball would be out of his hand instantly, and they'd be gaining yards.
Yeah, he would have peppered Wes Welker or Chris Hogan or whoever else's slot would have been.
Especially with guys like Hollywood Brown on the field or Xavier Worthy or whoever. Like, there's no way.
This is what leads me to
He would have had the
believe,
ball out of his hand before they could get to him.
This is what leads me to believe that. And this is why Patrick Mahomes gets to this a lot too. They say he's a system guy. He's an Andy Reid guy. He couldn't succeed anywhere else. And Andy, a lot of people saying his offense is now exposed. It's cooked. It's not dynamic enough.
Well, I mean,
it's too easy to figure out.
Isn't that just common sense when you really boil it down? Like you have no time. Your offensive line's not playing up to par. What do? Do you just keep dropping back there and running around with the ball
as far as you can?
But that's what Patrick will do. He just continuously does it to the point to where he just looks like he doesn't even know how to play football. And we saw it in the Super Bowl. We saw it rear its ugly head in the Super Bowl. But at what point is it like, oh, my offensive line's not giving me much protection. Maybe I should get rid of the damn ball. And that's not just on Mahomes. That's also on the scheme of the offense and Andy Reid and all them.
If Andy didn't want to call it, Mahomes needs to be like, no,
absolutely.
We're doing
that's
this.
what I'm saying. That was my point from the beginning.
That was the effort part.
At what point is Patrick Mahomes like, hey, this is idiotic. Here's what we're going to do. And whether you do it there was a great story that just came out yesterday of Matt Castle. Did you see that?
I didn't get to watch it, but
where he got into it with Todd Haley, and Todd Haley pulled him from the game. Said, no, you're coming out. Well, he just kept running out onto the field anyway. And he kept they wouldn't give him plays in his helmet, so he just called his own plays. And eventually, after repeatedly going out there when he wasn't supposed to and calling his own plays, they started moving the ball, and all of a sudden, Todd Haley giving a play. He won. He won that argument, right? He's like, F you, Todd Haley. This is what we're doing. And eventually Haley gave in and was like, okay, this is working. I think Mahomes has to get a little bit of balls like that. Hey, Andy, listen, buddy, eat a cheeseburger, but we got to do it this way.
When the call said, this is Todd Haley, I'm sorry, let's run. The next play failed. Because I think people just get in their own. I think Andy is in Joe Blameyer, Matt Nagy, every one of them, I think, is in a weird funk right now to where they can't get out of their own heads. They're just calling the same crap running into the wall.
It's been that way. It's been a stale offense for 3 years now.
It's what it feels like. We've got.
I think when you won 2 Super Bowls in a row with a really stale offense, that kind of solidified that you were going to have another one for year 3. Do you think, like, after watching that Super Bowl performance, there is no way, in good faith, that Andy Reid and them can go into the offseason and be like, we're going to run the same vanilla offense again next year. Like, that, you have to just wake up a little bit.
Well, the funny thing is it's like a catch-22 or something, because honestly, I think the vanilla quick screen offense would have worked better in the Super Bowl than what their idea was. Let's go out and try to throw it deep. What was that about? That was ignorant.
Stupid. But yeah, it's like I said, it's just like common sense stuff. Like, hey, I don't have time here. We got to do something different. And the team just would not adjust. They sit there and got beat down. Perry with the 2 bombs. Said Commies just released. What?
Jay Allen.
Oh, yeah. So they've actually been pretty active already. The Commanders.
They're going to turn into the Texans of the NFC because they found a rookie quarterback on a rookie deal.
Right. They re-signed Bobby Wagner to a 1-year deal. They went and traded a 5th-round pick for Deebo Samuel, and then they re-signed a kicker. But, I mean, they're a little bit active. But, yeah.
Joe Tooney, by the way, got a higher draft return than Deebo Samuel.
That's pretty funny, ain't it? What about Jonathan Allen, though?
We got raked on that one.
You like going to get Jonathan Allen?
I don't know. I just don't think we're going to get anybody. I just don't.
Mike's depressed.
I see Brett Veach signing back a bunch of the same names. Same guys. Same names, same guys. And if it comes down to somebody new, they're going to be cheap players that maybe won't even suit up for us when it's all said and done.
Boot says the Mahomes disrespect. He put the Chiefs in NFL history books. Keep the respect on his name. I didn't know anybody disrespected Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I didn't hear nobody disrespect Patrick Mahomes.
I don't know.
Not a single person.
Maybe get less sensitive. I don't know. That's the only thing I could tell you. But if Patrick's really does, he's got to grow a set. But like that's the difference between Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes, and I can tell you that right now. I think Tom Brady is not as gifted as an athlete as Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes, by every eye test, is a better quarterback than Tom Brady. But the difference is that Tom Brady would have not sat out there and repeatedly been beat to hell in that Super Bowl. He wouldn't have allowed it. No matter what the coach decided to call and not adjust, Tom Brady would have just done it himself. Like, look, here's what we're going to do. This is going to work. He would have got rid of the ball. He's not going to sit there and get hit 85 times. Mahomes just don't do that. And I don't know if it's because Mahomes is still technically kind of early in his career or if he's just a little bit more laid back when it comes to that type of thing. I think Mahomes has got to get a little bit more, not defiant, but like more, he's got to put up more of a fight with Andy Reid. Like, hey, this offense
is trash. Do you not think Mahomes has any input on the offensive game plan or what they do on individual games? Because I feel like he does.
Okay, but here's the thing. If Mahomes got as much leeway as I'm saying that you would need to be able to make these adjustments in game, then he's just as bad as Andy Reid and Matt Nagy for not adjusting in the Super Bowl. Like, how do you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again and just failing miserably? At what point do you switch it up? Like, to me, that was just wild. That's wild. And I don't think Tom Brady would have sat there and got his ass beat like that. I just don't. I think he would have done something differently, whether the coach liked it or not. I honestly believe that. I think that's the difference between the two. And like you said, Tom Brady wasn't always like that. Early in his career, he was a yes man. So maybe we're getting to the point. I mean, Mahomes cut his hair off. He's growing up. Do you think he's going to get to that point? I don't know.
We got to wait for Mahomes to go bald before. Like he just hits that time.
No, for real though. At what point does he start commanding the offense and just being like, "Hey, Andy, look, dude, you're getting the shit beat out of me. This is not working. Hey, Hollywood, hit this quick slant real quick. Let's get the ball out faster." Like whatever you have to do to just be in that situation. I think he's got to start taking a little bit more command of it. And if Andy gets pissy, he gets pissy. But that's where they hash it out on the sideline. But I think you win more football games that way.
It's the offense, though. It's just the entire offense. Andy Reid's offense doesn't have that consistent slot check down underneath guy that Tom Brady always had.
They need it. And we have the guys to do it. And you know what? Early in the season, I think that he kind of did have that with Rashee Rice, and they were doing that. They were hitting him for quick slants and stuff like that. It was amazing. We were like, did we just see that in an Andy Reid offense? And it was working. And then, like, all of a sudden, nothing.
I think Hollywood could have done it.
Absolutely.
But, of course, he got injured.
Absolutely, man. Let's see. We got a 2-bomb for KC Lions squad. Said with the Commanders, wide receiver De'Ami Brown fit our offense. Mike, this is a guy that you kind of brought up last offseason.
I like De'Ami Brown coming out of North Carolina. I thought he was decent.
He was kind of iffy, though, right? Like, the North Carolina wide receivers are also like,
yeah.
But you did like him. Yeah. I think he does kind of fit.
I would give him a shot. I don't think he would be. I mean, he's an upgrade over Sky Moore.
Well, here's the thing.
Sadly.
Can I ask you a question?
He's an upgrade over Justin Watson.
With the way the offense is going and the way it's been for the last 3 years, does it really matter if you have a Sky Moore as opposed to a Hollywood Brown or a Justin Watson or even De'Ami Brown, or just name a random guy? Does it matter? Does it change anything?
I don't know.
Like, I mean, a lot of it's just the scheme has been kind of
The scheme has been kind of odd.
Yeah.
I just think we're mixed. I think like they want to go deep, can't do it because of protection.
You had
They
this
want to do
season-
this, can't do it.
Look, by the end of the year, Patrick Mahomes literally had guys like, we always talk about how he needs weapons, he needs a snap. At the end of the season, Patrick Mahomes literally had Travis Kelce, DeAndre Hopkins, Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster, and we're still talking about Patrick Mahomes needs weapons? So what does it shift to? Oh, well, the offensive line sucked, so it's the offensive line's fault. At some point, it's not just this. You can't be 100% across the board all the time. You can't be perfect. You can't be a Pro Bowl team unless you're the Eagles. But it's like, at what point is it, hey, this scheme, it's just not working.
It's not scheming.
The scheme ain't scheming. Something's
ain't
wrong
scheming,
here.
baby.
If you have the guys I just named and you can't.
It's wild to think that you couldn't even get a first down.
That's insanity. Insane.
I'm going to tell you why. Because there was no threat of a run game.
That is 100% part of it. 100%. First of all, would the Eagles have had that pass rush on the Chiefs that entire Super Bowl if Andy would have just opted to run the damn ball in the first quarter? No. Absolutely not. They put you in a position where they got to pin their ears back the entire freaking game. With just 4 guys, they didn't have to blitz because no one respected you running the ball because it wasn't going to happen. So guess what? You 4 literally all out pass rush. Go. Every play. Like, you set yourself up, Andy. And you know what sucks, because you did have a patchwork offensive line, and the people that caught heat for it was Joe Tooney and Mike Caliendo. And that was a coaching failure from hell. Like, you literally left them out to dry. And then continued to let them get the hell beat out of them after you set them up.
I don't want to rehash the Super Bowl.
I'm just saying that's just one little speck of, like, it doesn't matter who we have out there, but you got to figure some things out, Andy Reid. Like, obviously you're the best to ever do it. You reset. Andy changed the entire game of football. Everyone copies his offense to an extent, but has he kind of gotten stale? Has he not evolved with the rest of them? A lot of them copied what he did, but they've kind of evolved it and done their own thing with it. Andy's just still stuck where, like, everyone copied his work and then got better. They're getting extra credit, and Andy's just out there still being Andy.
I think Andy's downfall is just Andy just never wants to commit to a running game. I really think that's a lot to do with it.
That is 100% it. And I don't understand it. How 30 years later does he not realize that?
Because I think we
I
even
don't get
seen
it.
with this trash offensive line and everything else, we were winning games throughout the middle of the season with no Hollywood Brown, no Rasheed Rice, nobody. We were just relying on the running game and 12 and 13 personnel, and we were winning games.
Kareem Hunt went from, damn, this guy came off the couch and is able to do this, to one
Back on the
carry in the
couch.
Super Bowl.
You might as well stay on the couch for the Super Bowl.
It's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. Free agency is going to be fun, Mike. But the thing about it is, I think there's a lot more. For 2 things can be true. I think, like, a lot of it's overreaction. Yes, if you look at what the Chiefs have done in the last 3 years, it's unprecedented. It's insane. It's hard to be in a position to where you're like, oh God, freak out mode. Like, we got to do this, we got to do that. But at the same time, I think you do have to take a look and be like, should the Chiefs have been in the Super Bowl this year? Should they have won 15 games with how bad this offense was? Like, so, I mean, I think there still is some concern to be had. So,
Yeah.
I mean, kind of in the middle there.
Canuck said, why didn't they put Tooney back at guard in the second half when they couldn't shut down Jalen? Who are you going to play at left tackle?
You can put DJ Humphries in there, watch him get the hell beat out of him.
Yeah, with Humphreys out
I
there.
mean, at that point, it didn't matter who you put in there. It didn't matter.
DJ Humphreys couldn't stop the pass rushers from Denver 2 weeks ago. Like, he wasn't even putting a hand on him. He scored an 11 PFF grade.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, it didn't matter who you put in there. They were set up for failure.
It was done. By the second half, you were done.
It was by the second quarter.
That's what I'm saying. But by
you
the
ran
second
the
half,
ball,
you were done. It
when
didn't
you ran
matter
the
what
ball
you did
3
there.
times in the first quarter, you ran the ball 3 times in the first quarter, and you allowed yourself to get in a 17-point hole.
Steve, their second run, they were down 17.
Yeah, done. You were done. You were cooked. It didn't matter who you put in there.
They played
You could've-
right into the Eagles'
You could have
game
went
plan.
and borrowed Trent Williams and stuck him in at left tackle, and it didn't
I said
matter.
that.
It didn't matter.
Didn't matter. They bit right into the Eagles' game plan. They played right into it.
And it's so weird too, because I mean, just judging from history, I think that they should have known that's what was coming.
I don't think you're wrong. Look, I don't even think you can't even say that you're wrong. You can't say I'm wrong. They played right into the game plan. How do you get beat? How do you get blown off the field? Because we got a bunch of garbage touchdowns. The score should have been 48-7 or 3 or whatever it was. We played you only get beat that bad when everything goes wrong, and everything only goes wrong when you play right into the other team's game plan.
Yeah, at Canuck, it didn't matter. Did it really matter if you had a run game when you were down by 27
You didn't need a run game
points?
in the second half. You didn't have it in the first.
You can't run the damn ball when you're down by 30 points.
And we also debunked that, by the way. I debunked that earlier in the season. Look, Seth Kaiser come out with this. He was on Cole's channel. I'll just call him out. They come out and said, hey, they run the ball better with DJ Humphries over Joe Thuney. That was a fraud. They cherry-picked information. It didn't happen. When you actually look at Caliendo and them, they were 1 yard to 2 yards lower.
On
1
average
to 2
per
yards
game.
lower on average per game.
Yeah.
And Andy Reid come out and ran the ball 0 times. So why did we need a run game in the Super Bowl? Why did you need a running offensive line?
Yeah, if they would have
He
put DJ
wasn't planning on
Humphries,
running the ball.
if they would have put
you
DJ Humphries out there and Joe Thuney at left guard, they would have still ran the ball 3 times.
Look,
in the first
that
half.
whole theory was debunked. Andy Reid chose our side. We were the ones saying Thuney had to play left tackle. He got you there. He was voted team MVP. He won the Derek Thomas Award for most valuable player because everybody understood what Thuney did. Yanking Thuney out in the Super Bowl would have been the stupidest thing you could have ever done.
Yeah.
Andy Reid backs us up. Everybody backs us up. I'm tired of arguing with the people that just want to listen to 1 or 2 guys and not listen to nobody else and just parrot it. And that's nothing against you, Canuck. It's not. I hear it from everybody. It's annoying.
It's annoying. Yeah,
It just wasn't right. It was a false narrative that everybody bought into.
It's March 7th, so we're literally 5 days outside of free agency really freaking heating up. And, I mean, you're still going to see stuff happening. Man, Canuck, give it up, brother. It didn't matter at that point. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter what you can come up with. You were beat after the first quarter.
Yeah.
If you're down 20
You're
points.
down 17-0 and you've not ran the ball but one time.
You're done. They already
the
don't
game's
care.
over.
They already don't give a shit about your fake run game.
They did not care.
Yeah, they don't care. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of things happening before free agency. We've seen it more and more each year. You'll start seeing all of these different pending contracts, and they've got the word that they're doing this or that, and it's going to be official on the 12th. So we'll see a lot of things coming down. Mike, do you really expect it to be another quiet free agency for the Chiefs, or do you think there are still some moves that people are going to be surprised about? Because I mean, the Joe Thuney one did blindside a lot of people. Do you think there's going to be anything else like that, or do you think it's just going to be, they're not going to re-sign Justin Reed, they're not going to re-sign Charles Omenihu, they're not going to. Which, by the way, Charles Omenihu already went on a big tangent on X about how he gets to see free agency the way it's supposed to be. So they must not have bit on Charles Omenihu getting paid out the ass.
Yeah, he's not going to get paid here.
So I mean, there's a lot of different things coming. But do you think any surprises, or do you think it's just going to be kind of?
Do you think Charles Omenihu will test the market? Nobody will pay him. He'll end up back here on a 1 year.
Somebody out there will pay him, but not what he thinks he wants.
Well,
and I think that he's got enough pride in him that he would take a deal from somebody else just because the Chiefs wouldn't give him what he wanted.
Probably.
And he thinks that he's going to get that from kicking and screaming and throwing tantrums. It's not going to happen here.
No, you're getting it from Drew Rosenhaus. You go out there and you get Drew. He got Tutu Atwell, $10 million.
Like, I'm sorry, Charles Omenihu, you did play pretty good. You played pretty good, but you were hurt. You were suspended. And you weren't anything special. Let's be honest here. You weren't groundbreaking. You're not game-changing. And if you could be, why don't you prove it then? Take a year and prove it, and then we'll pay you. But we're not going to give it to you just because you're going to kick and scream and cry about it.
Yeah, I think.
It's
to answer
crazy.
your question, I think it's going to be a very quiet free agency.
Quiet.
We don't
Nothing
have
crazy.
any money. If we sign back people, you may hear, it's going to be the same guys. It's going to be somebody that we had last year on a 1 year. They'll get them back for another 1 year. They'll get them back on a 2. They'll do something like that. I think you may be done with Derek Nottie now forever. I think he's probably going to go.
Whatever. He'll be the first one they
Finally.
sign back on a 1 year.
You probably are done with McCole Hardman.
He'll be back.
You're probably done with Justin Watson.
He'll come back too.
These are the guys we're going to sign, everybody.
Sign them all back.
Look, you think you're getting something new.
One
you're
more
not.
year. One more year.
Look, if there's one thing I know, if I'm going to tell you, and there's a lot of people here that's been a Chief fan longer than me, but for 40 years, I'll tell you this. Whatever you think's going to happen, expect to bring down the expectations.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be different. A lot different than what
Sam
you thought.
Turk Wharton's one I would like to re-sign. I think
I would like to have Wharton back.
he proved
But
it.
I think he may get a little offer from somebody else, and we ain't going to be able to match it.
That's a possibility too. I mean, he did show out.
I think Brett Veach has already conceded he's not looking at nobody this year. That's why he's already starting to work on McDuffie and Karloftis.
Yeah, maybe.
I think he's getting a jump start on next year so he can get those 1 years rolling.
Well, that's the thing. Do you think that like the Joe Tooney thing was a sign of things to come? Like, hey, we are going to switch some things up. Things are going to be different.
Who else is under contract that they would feasibly trade? I don't see anybody under contract they're trading at this point. I would love to see Jawan Taylor hawked off, but nobody's giving him that. Like, what are you getting for Jawan Taylor? If you got a 4th round in 2026 for Tooney and then a 7th round pick for Christian Kirk, what are you getting for Jawan Taylor? A roll of Charmin Ultrasoft? What are you getting for him?
No, you might get the single ply.
You get that single ply.
Your finger's going to go straight through it right into the poo. That's what's going to happen.
You're going to get poo finger trying to trade Jawan Taylor out here.
Do you think that? So you think Joe Tooney is going to be the only like major change? You think the rest? You think after hawking off Joe Tooney for a 4th rounder for next season, and kind of knowing that you're kind of hitting a different season, you're not season, but different phase of this dynasty run, Patrick Mahomes' career, however you want to define it. Do you go ahead and let Tooney walk, and you make a big change there, but you just continue to 1 year the hell out of a bunch of players that shouldn't be here?
I think that's the plan, always and will be with Brett Veach.
Okay.
We're just going to 1 year everybody to death.
I guess we'll see about that.
Would you be sad if you woke up tomorrow and there were? I don't think it's going to happen. But what if the Chiefs, if they traded Travis Kelce or they traded Chris Jones, would you be sad? That's never happening. But I'm just asking the hypothetical.
Yeah, of course you would be. It's sentimental, right? Like, that's our guys. Those are our homegrown guys that have been here that put us through everything that we've got to experience.
Right, and that's why they're
never.
never. Yeah, I don't think you're trading them. I mean, at Kelce at this point, I don't think anybody's giving nothing for Kelce hardly.
No.
But Chris Jones could warrant something. But I just don't know if I'd want to trade Chris Jones. I think Chris Jones does a lot more than even stat sheets show.
Okay, so if the Chiefs go out and they were to somehow figure out this left tackle thing and get a guy, say Ronnie Stanley doesn't sign back with the Ravens, and the Chiefs are like, okay, we're going to pay him. Let's pay him and see what happens. Let's see if he can stay healthy. At that point, if they get the left tackle thing under control or what have you, playing damage control there, then are you okay with the rest of the offseason just being 1 year deal, re-sign this guy, re-sign that guy? Or do you think
you have no choice?
Do you think some major things have got to get shaken up?
Yeah, I don't think you have a choice. If you really find a way to sign Stanley, you ain't signing nobody else.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough
Especially
one.
with Trey Smith, too. Because we're under assumption they got to sign him back. You think you think it's a real possibility they try to trade Trey Smith now?
Yeah, I do. A lot of people don't, but I think yes.
I
absolutely.
thought with trading Tooney, that just about meant that, hey, we're freeing up money, we're getting Trey Smith done. We choose Trey Smith.
Is it that, or is it a commitment to the guard position? It really isn't a big deal for us. We can figure that out, but we've got to figure out the tackle thing.
And you've got Wanye and Caliendo and
Exactly.
Kingsley
You
and
have
all
guys
these
that can play that guard
guard
position. And that was my point with Trey Smith to begin with. Love Trey Smith. Think he's great. Would love to keep him at the Chiefs, but it just isn't feasible to pay a guard $20-some million a year. That's wild.
Kind of the same with middle linebacker. I think that's why Nick Bolton's on an island.
So to me, I felt like that tag was literally like, hey, let's get something for this guy instead of letting him walk for free. That's what I thought it was. Mike, you were on the other end of the – you thought –
I thought that the Tooney thing kind of sealed the deal that they were going to get the contract done.
Or is it them saying, hey, these guards aren't the problem. We can figure the guard thing out. Why don't we spend this money on the tackles?
Where are you trading them, though? Vikings?
Somebody would want Trey. I mean, that would be an easy trade. Somebody would do it for something.
Yeah, but he ain't getting no better than Snead got last year.
You're not going to get no better. You get a 3rd or 4th round pick's what you're going to get for him.
Yeah,
But is
that's
it that
exactly what you're going to end up
But
with.
think about this: was tagging him and then trading him and getting a 3rd or 4th round pick, is that better than just letting him walk for free? Absolutely.
True.
If they already had it in mind that they weren't going to pay Trey Smith,
Well, you're risking that nobody does it, and you're risking a 3rd round, 4th round pick for $26
so worst case scenario, you work out.
million.
So worst case scenario, you pay Trey Smith what he's worth.
No,
you
worst
come
case
up with a
scenario is
contract.
you don't get it done. You pay him the free agent money or the
$26 million.
the
or
tag
whatever.
money. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think that's a big possibility. I do think some things could fall here. I think that Joe Tooney, that's not like a really crazy one, but it was unexpected. I thought they would kind of restructure him again, honestly. So, I mean, it was a little unexpected, but I don't know.
Julia
I think
says the Patriots. Yeah, the Patriots got a lot of money, man.
Patriots got $120 million of cap space.
I heard they were big on Ronnie Stanley too. And
Oh,
that's
yeah,
probably why we're
don't
probably
really-
priced out of Ronnie Stanley.
Yeah, Mike, I said on the video yesterday, and if you guys please do your boys a favor.
Yeah,
if you haven't done
4
nothing else
minutes.
for us today, go watch the video we put out last night after we're done here. It's 4 or 5 minute video. It's about Ronnie Stanley, and you'll get some information.
And you know what? YouTube would freak out if at 12:50 p.m. today, randomly, like everybody here went over and watched that video. They'd be like, "What happened?"
But in the video, we kind of give you a rundown on it, and we tell you what the chances are the Chiefs even get him. So go watch it.
I thought by
And,
the time I got it uploaded last night, Steve, that Ronnie Stanley was going to re-sign with the Ravens, essentially.
Yeah, Mike had
And
to upload the video like 972 times yesterday.
No lie.
I thought it was getting released at 1 p.m. It got released at 6 p.m.
Yeah. 9 times that I have to upload that video and do all the work for it because they just kept tagging stuff for copyright stuff. All because I tried to show a play of Ronnie Stanley. This is how crazy it's gotten out here.
It's getting wild.
The NFL don't make enough money. They have to come from my $20 in ad revenue.
Mike.
Good job. Go have a good lunch on me.
I don't know if we shouted this out, but if we didn't,
Michael Flores with the
Mike
one.
Flores
Gifted,
with
baby.
the gifted membership. Appreciate you, Michael. That's awesome, brother. All you guys that donated today and gave away memberships, you guys are the real ones. We're in the dead of the off season. We don't have no sponsors right now. We ain't got nothing. So anything you do to help the channel out is much, much appreciated, whether it's monetarily or just by clicking the like button and going and watching that video we put out yesterday when we're done here. That would be much appreciated. But yeah, we went a little long today. Mike was a little pissed off today. It's all good. We'll be back with more free agency stuff. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do that. And then click that bell notification. That way we can keep you up to date on what's going on with free agency because it's about to heat up for real. And it's going to be a fun one, man. We'll see what the Chiefs have in mind. We'll see what Brett Veach has up his sleeve for this offseason. We'll see.
Sleepless nights. That's what it's got.
Appreciate you guys. We'll catch you next time. Go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs.
Heaven was a sight from my soul.